Good evening and welcome back to 29 News Streaming. Live in the newsroom, I'm Isla Miyabi, and thanks so much for joining me for tonight's edition of Your Day in News, where we recap the top stories of the day. It is budget season in Virginia, and the real power in Richmond comes down to how the money gets spent. Kate Nectarline takes a closer look at the General Assembly's proposed budgets and what these decisions mean for Virginians.
I'm really happy with the House proposed budget.
I mostly have concerns.
Reactions to the General Assembly's proposed budget are unsurprisingly split down party lines.
We're trying to do all that we can to keep people financially solvent, keep things affordable, and let Virginia families flourish.
Hailing their proposal as the affordability budget, Democrats want to replace federal funding cuts, including to SNAP and Medicaid. They're also pushing for built-in teacher raises and child care subsidy expansions.
Does a great job at filling a lot of the gaps that we're expecting from what's happening in Washington while still investing in things that are key.
But some Republicans say the proposal is a sharp turn from Youngkin's budget and away from affordability.
We had opportunities to remove taxes on tips, taxes on overtime. All this stuff's been stripped out in favor of more revenue and more spending.
Another key proposal is eliminating the sales tax exemption for data centers. Proponents say it will direct more than $1 billion to Virginians and force data centers to pay their fair share. But some, like Republican Senator Mark Obenshain, say it will slam the door on investment overall.
There are a lot of other counties in Virginia that are struggling to make ends meet, would really benefit from modest data center development.
Also on the docket, raising legislator salaries from about $18,000 to $45,000 a year.
If you want a good representative who's really working, who's doing constituent services, it's hard to find qualified candidates that are willing and able to do that for $18,000.
I have not witnessed any shortage of candidates on the basis of the salaries that are being paid.
The next step is for the House and Senate to agree on a uniform budget proposal as Republicans call for a reduction in total spending.
We have a habit of focusing a lot on where we put money, but not focusing a lot on the results that we're getting.
Changes being made in Richmond could impact health care across the Commonwealth. Lawmakers are looking at proposals that could change everything from hospital finances, patient access, to the way that doctors practice. Gabby Womack breaks it down. Looks like we're having some issues with the audio, so we'll be coming back to that one. Panelists came together at the Miller Center earlier to discuss constitutional government in the United States, what it looks like today, and its impacts on the public. Kendall Hansen gives us a look into the insight these experts shared.
The problem is the absence of the cultural resources that would allow us to work through our
differences across party lines that James Hunter, a professor at UVA, says underline the state of politics in the United States.
The dysfunction we've been watching over the last 40 years is a reflection of the absence of a deeper solidarity that holds us together.
Jamel Bowie is a columnist with the New York Times.
We live in a zero-sum political world. So much of it has to do with how Congress has receded from not just legislation, not just policy making, but from political leadership.
A lessening role in decision making and authority from Congress, Bowie describes, impact accountability across the three branches of government.
It has a lot to do with a very deep complacency that's grown in our public.
Complacency that author and academic Laura Field says manifests in people's reaction to government policy.
I'm just not entirely persuaded that what we're witnessing is two sides of a divide versus there has emerged organically in the society a set of resources for thinking about what this country is and what the public is and who is included. And what we're experiencing is a reaction to that.
Hunter says unification across party lines comes from beyond political ideas, as people find common ground to support each other.
What is it that unites us? It's not rational agreement. It's love. We are bound together by protecting what we together have at stake.
Kendall Hansen, 29 News.
What began as a belief that no child should ever receive education as a barrier has grown into a region-wide organization led by one UVA student. Jeanette Hastings shows us how that mission is now reaching students beyond grounds.
At the University of Virginia, a first year is leading a nonprofit expanding into Charlottesville City Schools. Chance Archer founded One Small Chance after experiencing a lack of basic school supplies as a child.
No kid should worry about when they are able to read their next book. Education should not be a barrier.
For 19-year-old Chance Archer, that belief comes from lived experience. Archer, a UVA first year, says he remembers what it felt like to show up without what other students had and realizing he was not the only one.
I'm seeing like my fellow peers and myself, back in middle school going without, school supplies on the first day.
Archer started organizing support while still in high school, focusing on removing barriers that can quietly impact confidence, performance, and opportunity. What began in the Hanover and Richmond area has grown into outreach across Virginia and now into Charlottesville. He says the challenges facing students here are reflected in the numbers.
If we pulled, local SOL data and fail rates, in Charlottesville City Schools, some fail rates are 70% in science. Now it's important, just as a community, to support our youth.
Through partnerships with schools and counselors, One Small Chance is connecting directly with students and families, encouraging mentorship, donations, and involvement from across the community.
The organization is preparing for a 2026 book drive and 2 $500 scholarships. From the University of Virginia, Jeanette Hastings, 29 News.
Thanks so much for tuning in. I hope that everyone has a great night. For 29 News, I'm Isla Miyabi.